So how I went from plateaued skills and missing throws in matches to getting stronger and able to throw more successfully in matches with the Judoka Ascension method in 180 days without going to the dojo as much. This was in my first competition in 2018 when I first started judo. I look like a freak there. But I did win first place, and that was when I first applied the Judoka Ascension method. So, and this is me now during Randori doing one of the successful Uchimatas, my favorite throw that I usually pull when Randori now, and it's pretty much at will. My success rate has gone a lot higher with my throws in fights. But yeah, if my training method of the Judoka Ascension worked for me when I first started judo to the point where it was helping me win competitions, and it got me to this level even more, just imagine how it's going to benefit you if you're like 2 to 5 years already into your judo journey. Let's begin. Life now with my current judo abilities. So how, you might be asking yourself, how is my current judo performance? How am I fighting? How does the training method that I have actually translate on the mat? Well, I'm finally getting more compliments from guys I train with, and they, keep in mind, these are people I actually looked up to, like higher ranked guys, national level competitors, Olympic level guys that train at this dojo that I go to. Keep in mind, this dojo I go to is hyper competitive, like literally Olympic guys and mostly like national athletes, high school wrestlers, college wrestlers come here. So it's a very competitive environment. And yeah, a lot of these guys are noticing my form, my improvement, my technique, and getting complimented for it. Like one guy who, one of my training partners who went to the Olympics last year to be a training partner, and he's definitely going to the next Olympics, but he noticed my technique. He was like, Joey, your techniques improved a lot. And that's not the first time he said it. And literally the other day when my dad came for the second time, he met my training partner. He said the exact same thing to him. He's like, yo, your son's got good technique. So that obviously made me feel really good. I don't just survive tough rounds of Randori anymore. I actually land more throws, and cleanly too. The techniques improved so much, guys. My confidence is higher against better fighters, even if, you know, they're better than me and they beat me. I'm just not like no longer anxious and like scared to fight them. I finally feel like an athlete, guys, stronger, quicker, and more endurance. I feel like a real member of the good players at my dojo, because the sensei, he, since I've been training there more, and he's, you know, also took note of my skills. I made a video of my story of how I threw him and like how he really like got impressed. But anyways, whenever he sees me like going with the lower rank guy, because I'm usually nice, like I don't like discard somebody who's like a lower rank below me. If they want to partner up with me, I say sure, let's do it. But whenever like my sensei sees me doing that, he's like, no, come here with go with a better guy, drill with like a good guy, because I don't want you to, you know, like fall behind with your training type thing. You know what I mean? Like he always usually puts me with the son who's like also a black belt and a national level competitor. So he usually makes sure that I drill with high level guys because he knows I'm at that level too. So that's why I say I feel like I'm part of the member of like the better players of the dojo. And yeah, like I said, it is a competitive dojo. So now I feel like I actually belong there. And during this time period, I did get promoted to brown belt. But you guys that know me a lot know that I don't really care as much for rank colors, like belt colors, as much as I care about my actual skill. Like if you feel like your color of belt far exceeds the level of your skill, there's a problem. But more than that, guys, I just like fell in love again with judo training and like found my purpose. So this video, we're going to go deeper into all of that. So first and foremost, who is this for? So this video is going to benefit people the most who've been already in judo for like 1 to 5 years, even more. People who have some judo competitions coming up. So this training is really going to help you prepare. People who want to gain muscular strength and grip strength and control, kumikata, all that. People who want to refine their main throws, their favorite throws that they're going to use in a fight anyways, and actually be able to land them in matches and not just be fancy with it and show demonstrations or whatever. People who want to last longer in rounds, give consistent effort throughout the entire round and not gas out. People who need help creating a structured, effective routine on the side of their regular dojo attendance that addresses their specific judo needs, strength, endurance, control, flexibility, technique, all that good stuff. And this is for people who love going to the dojo but find themselves missing practice, not necessarily because they're slacking, but because of work and personal commitments. Maybe you're really tired from work or something comes up and you still want to make progress and not get rusty. Then this is for you. So whether you compete or not, this is for you as well. Like, it's really going to benefit the guys who compete, but also the guys who are more like hobbyists and recreational. This method will work either way. And who, vice versa, who is this not for? If you quit things easily, this isn't for you. If you're not willing to commit to training outside of class, whether it's extra drills, mobility, strength work at the gym for a period of time, this is not for you. If you think just going to practice alone and over time, you're going to become great, and that's all you need, you're wrong. This is not for you, because success loves speed. And with this method, it's going to speed up the rate at which you improve. So if you're not willing to suffer when training to improve your cardiovascular endurance, I'm telling you, it sucks and you got to get uncomfortable in order so you can last longer in fights and randori and in your matches, then this is not for you. And finally, if you're not ready to invest time, energy, and money into, for example, better equipment, gym memberships, dojos, mentorship, coaching, then this is not for you. This is all for your self-improvement, guys. And if you don't see it as an investment, then yeah, it's not for you. Now, here's the truth. You don't need to compete to master your throws. You can if you want. You don't need to compete to develop strength. You don't need to compete to actually be able to throw somebody at will. You don't need to go to the dojo 6 days out of the week, guys. Get out of your head. I don't want you thinking and like freaking out and like feeling pressured, especially for the guys who are busy and girls who are busy working a 9-to-5 job. Don't feel pressured anymore with this method that you need to go to the dojo or like feel guilty because you missed or feel like you're slacking and everybody's going to think you're lazy. No. We're going to break down how this training method will actually make up for the missed days in dojo, and also continue adding on to the progress you've been making with your technique. Here's the thing. Yeah, you don't have to go to the dojo 6 days a week for this method to work. I was back then when I first discovered this and still am inconsistent with my dojo time. And I'm still as good as I am now. Go watch my videos. If you're new, like you probably, you should definitely watch my technique if you don't believe me. Like I'm like very proficient with my judo. You don't need some fancy Olympic facility to get better fast. Showing up consistently will make you good, but training on the side is what will really take it to the next level. You don't need to know 15 different techniques to be an effective thrower. It's like Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who knows 1,000 kicks, or was it 10,000 kicks? But I fear the man who's worked on one kick 10,000 times. It's all about reps, guys. And lastly, you don't need decades of training or a brown or black belt to be considered great at judo. But don't worry, I am not going to let those limiting beliefs stop you. So there's no such thing as a solo training judo resume for judo not helping you master your throws faster and build strength-dominant opponents. People at my dojo usually, I've heard a couple of guys say, oh, like the best training is coming to the dojo. I mean, duh, you have to go to the dojo to actually learn how to throw a human being. But if you do that, and on top of that, have your own individual judo training routine, you're not going to tell me that that's not going to skyrocket your training. Like, I'm not saying to do one or the other. Like, you got to do both. That's what this presentation is going to be about, guys. I've done it myself and my clients too. Like, I've done both. And in fact, I haven't, like I said, I'm not very consistent with my dojo time, and I still am really good at judo. If you work specifically on your main throws at home, like flexibility, cardio, your plan of attack, like your game tactics, real time tactics, progressively overloading the gym, meaning getting stronger, adding more and more weight to the bar each 1 to 2 weeks, and you go to the dojo a few times a week on top of this, like I said, tell me how you cannot become the ultimate athlete in judo. If you want that person to be you, I'm going to show you exactly how to throw sharper, increase cardio endurance, muscular strength, and know how to actually apply everything in a fight without tournaments, unless you want to compete, because this applies if not you compete. How to structure your training to see measurable improvements in your throws, progressive overload with the weights, how to throw more successfully in matches, and increase cardiovascular endurance. How to only go to the dojo as little as 1 to 3 times a week, like I was and still am, and still improve your throws. And lastly, how to train properly at the dojo. I'm going to show you the right way, how I tell myself to train and make the most out of my time whenever I'm at the dojo. Okay, so in case you don't know me again, if you're new, here's a brief backstory of how I got here. So I'm going to read off this brief little memoir that I wrote myself. So sit back and listen. Back in high school, I was obsessed with becoming a pro soccer player. After a rough freshman year season, I committed to leveling up. I wanted to become a pro soccer player. And I built a solo training routine that I could do anywhere, in any weather, 2 to 3 hours after school. Every day I was disciplined with cones, drills, shooting the ball, whether it was at my house or at a soccer field, and I was very disciplined with it. I didn't miss any days for the most part. The last 4 years in high school I was in. I didn't make it pro, but that obsession built the foundation for everything that I do now, not only with my judo, but life, essentially. After high school, I found judo, partly inspired by Bruce Lee, my dad being a former judoka, and this was 2017 during the whole McGregor versus Mayweather fight. I fell in love with it instantly. My athletic base from soccer and lifting, I was already lifting like 2 years into my fitness journey. It helped me progress fast in judo, a lot quicker than anybody else who was starting around the same time I was. But this time I was not going to rely on just solo work. So it was the same mistake that I made with soccer because I lacked actual game IQ because all I was doing with soccer was training at home. And I didn't want to do that with judo. I didn't want to just train at home. I needed to go to the dojo and like actually put into play what I was working on. So I trained at the dojo consistently. And I drilled at home, and I started seeing real progress. And when I first started, this was when I was more of a competitor. So I was really consistent with my dojo time. And I recommend anybody who has a tournament coming up, that's when you really need to lock in your consistency with dojo attendance. Looking back, those early jumps in performance weren't just luck. They were a result of relentless consistency. So a common theme you're going to notice with me, guys, is every period where I see a spike in my improvement were when I was consistent for a period of time, like 3 to 6 months, very, very consistently, not missing a day. But then COVID hit in 2020. I lost direction with judo. I stopped showing up consistently, even training on my own. But I was still going to the gym. Injuries piled up, which kind of scared. Like, I decided not to pursue becoming like high-level competitor anymore. I kind of changed, goals. I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore, and I drifted. And judo became an afterthought while I chased other things in life. Then in 2023, something clicked. I heard a self-improvement influencer say on a podcast, part of being a high-value man is being capable of violence. Same could be applied for girls in a way. Like, self-defense is something good to have in your arsenal. And that hit me hard as a man who's like on self-improvement myself. It made me remember how good judo was for my mental health. It gave me confidence while I was like walking alone, for example, at night. Maybe feel like a badass, the discipline, that sense of control. Like, imagine the confidence you get from being like physically fit and muscular, but also knowing how to throw somebody. That's what I loved about judo. It made me decide judo wasn't just a hobby anymore. It was a part of my identity. I started to view myself as a fighter, as a judoka, not necessarily an Olympian or a pro athlete, but somebody who trains, somebody who's disciplined, somebody who sharpens his body and stays ready, just like Bruce Lee's lifestyle with martial arts and his job, pretty much. That identity shift lit a fire in me. I got consistent again. I was going to the dojo 2 to 3 times a week. This was all last year. Home training with my grappling then was a lot more consistent. Gym work stayed the same. I was always consistent with my fitness. Everything was dialed in. Drilling my entire game, my entries nonstop. I knew if I wanted to be higher, at the level of a black belt, I had to shoot above that, increase the standard even more. Like they say, shoot for the moon, land on the stars if you don't make it to the moon. So I had to train above that level. I modeled my lifestyle, my training more specifically, after Olympic athletes, like watching Ono and stuff like that. And over time, the results came. My Uchimata and my Osotogari became crisp. Those were my main throws I focused on. I was throwing guys in randori at will in real time, more consistently than I was previously. I got my brown belt during this period. People started recognizing me. I became a content creator for judo. I actually fell in love with it that much. I decided to become a content creator, and followers began to admire not just my throws, but the way I carried myself. And that's when I realized every breakthrough that I had with judo came from consistency. Every spike in skill and progress was when I really locked in my routine, was consistent with it. And that was the secret. And the same system I used to rebuild my judo and get that spike, made me realize that I could help other busy judokas do the same. And by the way, in this corner picture here, the bottom right-hand corner, if you're wondering, this was when I was the most inactive. Also, a lot of injuries during this period also prevented me from training. But look how skinny I was, man. My arms. I remember I had a shoulder injury for a year. I couldn't work out, and I lost a lot of muscle. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little background. Now, the Judoka Ascension method, my method that I created for myself to ascend from somebody who was decent at throws and had a couple years of judo experience. I wasn't totally bad, but I was kind of at that intermediate level. I was decent at throws. My strength was good. My kumikata was okay. To now mastering my main throws, gaining more strength than I had previously, and actually being able to throw at will more consistently in matches than I ever was before. I forged this system back when I was more active competing in tournaments through strength training, tons of reps, throwing my dummy elastic bands, as well as throwing real people at the dojo and randori. What took it to the next level, again, was another period of consistency, ideally 6 months. I did this for 1 month, or not 1 month, for 1 year, entire year of 2024. But I already started seeing progress within a quarter of it, 3 to 6 months. Now I've decided to break it all down for you. In the next steps, I'm going to break down exactly what I did from start to finish so you can copy my method for yourself. Okay, so the process overview looks like this. Number 1 is the dojo. Committing to showing up to the dojo at least 1 to 3 times a week during this period of 3 to 6 months. This is where I put all my solo training into practice, where I gain combat experience to work on. It's like the feedback that I get pretty much. Number 2, judo-specific solo training, so grappling work, resistance bands, shadow entries, flexibility, footwork, all that good stuff. Number 3 is strength training, judo-specific weightlifting mixed with some bodybuilding style workouts. Number 4, nutrition. I fueled my body like an athlete should. And mentality, the identity shift to fearlessness, not being afraid of any opponent, willingness to learn, and most importantly, the consistency. Now that you've seen what's possible, I'll show you how I rapidly improved using a mix of home training, gym work, and focused practice at the dojo. Okay, so Firstly, we're going to dive into the dojo. Like, how exactly should you be training to make the most of your time? What is the most important things you should be focusing on? What are the needle moving tasks in the dojo? What are the tasks that are actually going to get you good? So minimum, I put 2 times a week, especially if you're in a period of getting ready for a competition. You should go as much as possible. But again, I'm inconsistent even to this day with my progress, with my dojo attendance, and I'm still as good as I am. So if you're more of a recreationalist, at least you should be going once a week. So it's a place to actually test out what you've been working at home. So again, this is a place where you're going to put everything that you're working on at home into play, learning your grip fighting technique, your kumikata, as you see me up here, movement for setups, combinations. You're going to learn your flow, learn your style, learn like, okay, this entry didn't work for this throw. The way I've been doing it at home with the dummy isn't working on real person. Like, how do I set this up? Learn defense, attacking, how to manipulate momentum and weight, fighting different weight opponents, like heavier guys and lighter guys. That's the purpose of the dojo when you're doing randori. And I recommend drilling with guys that are better than you. If you're in a dojo that's more competitive like mine, you're fire, you're golden, and that's how you'll learn faster. Because you're the product of who you surround yourself with. If you're the best in your dojo, that's a problem, because you're not going to have like that competitive nature, that subconscious feeling of wanting to step it up and be as good as the others. Because if you're already the best, it's like, what is there to improve? It's kind of like the feeling of studying for an exam and being done with it, getting an A, and you're like, okay, now what? And randori. Randori is very important because this is, again, where you're going to discover your flow. You're going to learn how to defend, develop your style. So when I'm fighting specifically, I tell myself mentally, when it comes to attacking, I don't want to stand idle for more than like 6 seconds. So every 5-6 seconds, that's when I shoot one of my main throws. That's where I go for like my uchimata or my osotogari. Even if I fail, just wait another 5 seconds, go again. And the same with defense. Like, I tell myself just mentally, like, my feet are glued to the ground. I move the opposite way where they're dragging me and just break grips, have amazing kumikata. Don't let them hold on to you for more than 6 seconds. That's another rule I tell myself mentally. He's like, if they have like a really tight, like Georgian top grip on me, I'm in trouble. I got to break that grip, use my shoulders, whatever I can to break free. And then another strategy for randori is, depending how many rounds you do, I usually do 1 round with a really good like heavyweight or somebody who's above me to really push myself and learn from them, because that's another thing you're going to learn when you fight against guys that are better than you. And then the other round, you're going to go against either a white belt or somebody lighter than you, because this allows you to get more reps in, to actually apply the throws you've been working on at home in a real life scenario. Because if you might pull it off when you're fighting a guy better than you or heavier than you, but it's just going to be less likely. The point of fighting against lighter guys, again, is to get more reps, because you're going to be more likely to throw people who are less better than you or lighter than you in a randori match than somebody who's bigger than you. It's just, that's not really, don't expect to throw as much fighting guys who are heavier than you or better than you. And then also the other thing that the dojo serves greatly in is you can actually have concentrated focus time, depending on the dojo, if they allow, to actually throw a real uke, a real human being, just like with the grappling dummy at home. This is good because you kind of transition from throwing an inanimate object to a real human, and that really helps you like understand, okay, this is how I should be throwing. And it's something I recommend. So I usually stay after practice for like 20 minutes, and I do like 2 or like 3 sets of 5 to 10 throws of the throw that I'm working on at home, especially throws that I can't practice elsewhere, like tomonage. If you don't have mats, bro, like, don't do tomonage in your backyard. You're gonna hurt your back. I've done that, and it's not good. So just a recap of the dojo, the main things you should be focusing on is randori and nagekomis, throwing time. Now, this is part of the meat and potatoes. So this is the actual technical stuff you can do at home to improve your technique. This combined with randori is going to absolutely skyrocket your progress. If you're just doing one of the two, you're really missing out. You're leaving a lot of gains at the table. Practice your primary throws on a grappling dummy. So guys, a lot of you guys ask me what weight my dummy is that I use. It doesn't matter. As long as it's at least 30 pounds, it's probably better that it's lighter, because it's just like in the gym. When you're trying to master a exercise, for example, like bench press, you need, and it's like too heavy, you're going to really struggle, and you're not going to get a good workout. You're not going to get a good pump. You're not going to have that mind-muscle connection. You're not going to understand how to perform the exercise correctly with the form. It's the same thing with the dummy. If it's really heavy, you're going to like make up and compensate for like not being able to throw it and being strong enough to throw it. It's better just get a lighter dummy, especially when you're first starting, to really understand the form, to throw it with more ease. And then as you get better, as you master it, it's like baby steps. Then you can buy a heavier dummy or like load it up with more like sand. Another question is, what do I fill it up with? This is my first thing that you see me throwing. I recommend you guys buy the pre-filled one just so you don't have to deal with filling it up, because it can be really annoying. But I filled mine up with old clothes, and I put broomsticks as legs. You can either put it on the inside or duct tape them behind the legs. That's what I did with my current one, because if your dummy is like crappy material, the broomsticks will eventually like poke through the feet and like create a hole, so you don't want that. So yeah, that's what to do with the dummy. And then I threw my dummy 25 to 100 times every single day. Every single day I did this, at least 25 times, and I obviously put a Judo gi on it, and that's what really helped me master it. And I picked my primary throw. That's the thing. Like if I just do Uchimata, and that's the throw that I do in randori, and I get the most success with it, you best believe that's the throw that I'm going to be polishing every day at home with my dummy. And the beauty of reps, guys, is every time that I do more and more reps, after like the 10th rep, that's when I really fall into a flow state. I start discovering little nuances about my technique that only help me in real life. And throw it with intent, guys. Don't throw it like half-ass. Throw it like you're actually trying to throw a real person in randori. And also uchikomis. This will really help you, especially if you're a beginner. But doing uchikomis with a band, as you see me down here, will really help you understand the form, footwork, rotation. And you can also do it on the dummy with the judogi. Put it on it, and you could do your osotogari entries or uchimata entries. Seos are a bit trickier. Hip throw uchimatas or uchikomis. Shadow uchikomis too. These are good. A lot of you guys see me doing like the wall uchimata drill. That one's considered a shadow uchikomi. You see me here practicing footwork with the triangular tape. Basically, that just represents the distance between you and your opponent's feet, and where you want to step to get the most leverage. So that can be something you do consider a shadow uchikomi as well. But it's just like boxers. You know, boxers do shell boxing. That's what we can do too for judo, like shadow uchikomi. Just imagine you're entering, practicing, real-time tactics, combinations, footwork, without any equipment at all. That's helped me really polish my skills. And judo-specific hit cardio is good too, especially if you are competing soon. Doing hit at home 2 to 3 times a week, assuming that you're not going and doing randori at least like 2 to 3 times a week, you can supplement it with hit at home. And that's basically, short 15-minute bursts of explosivity. Like you could do sprints, burpees, and you can create like a circuit out of it. You could do like 50 band uchikomis and drop down and do like 5 burpees, followed by uchimata entries. And those are 3 exercises. You can do supersets for 3 rounds. Get that done in 15 minutes nonstop. Like you do each exercise without a break. That's what really built my cardio, because it's really game specific, guys. You want to be really game specific, because I'm not going to tell you to not go for like an hour run. It's still good for you, but it's like a different type of cardiovascular response. In a match, in a tournament, in a fight, in randori, you're not going to be the type of cardiovascular demands your body's asked for isn't like the type of cardiovascular demands you get when you're running at a steady state, at a steady pace for an hour. No, when you're fighting, you're constantly moving, you're exploding, you're pushing people off of you, you're posting, your muscles are burning, you're changing direction, you're getting down for an Iwaza, you're getting back up fast. It's constant, like, movement and change of pace and direction. That's what you want to mimic when you're doing cardio. Now for strength training. So focus mainly on a mix of explosive workouts that really recruit those fast twitch muscle fibers and compound lifts, like bodybuilding style stuff. Now, I do kettlebell exercises. I used to be a fan of Olympic lifts, but I find they're way too complicated, and it's just like an entirely different skill to learn on its own. It's like we're already like struggling to perfect our technique. Why are we going to invest more time and energy into learning how to do a perfect barbell snatch or a power clean? Just forget it. Like, are you going to be a power lifter, Olympic power lifter, or are you going to be an Olympic judoka? Let's go. You don't have to do all these learn all these complicated moves in the gym. You just need the essentials, guys. So kettlebell exercises are good for explosivity. I'm talking about stuff like swings, snatches are pretty easy. Kettlebell cleans are pretty easy. But anyone that seems complicated to learn, don't do it. Just stick to the basic ones. Like, I like to do the around the world kettlebell where I start with it here. You can kind of see me with the kettlebell at the top, the finish. So you just swing it around your whole body, and that really just recruits a lot of core rotation, explosivity. That's really going to like mimic the explosivity in your turns when you're throwing. That twerk, it really brings out that muscle to strengthen it. And you're going to notice my throws became so much more explosive after doing this type of training. And just for a couple of sets on top of like your regular bodybuilding routine. And then for the compound lifts, the bodybuilding style, I don't waste my time, especially if I'm really busy throughout the week, I don't waste my time doing accessory muscles, like bicep curls, tricep. It's kind of a waste of time. All you should be doing is the 3 compound lifts, either squat or deadlift. I prefer squat. Or if your shoulders or back hurt, just do leg press or lunges. Presses, either bench press or dumbbell press, and some sort of pulling movement. If you're strong enough to do pull-ups, do pull-ups. If you can't do pull-up yet, do lat pull-downs or rows, barbell rows, or whatever machine you have in the gym. And that's all you need. And you need to do this, work every muscle group 2 times a week minimum for maximum muscular gains. So the way I like to organize my split is upper body, lower body. So Monday, I do upper body. Tuesday, I do lower body. Wednesday, I rest. Thursday, I do upper body again. And then finally, my last workout is Friday for lower body. And if I'm bored and I have like time and I really want to train, I could go do arms on either Saturday or Sunday. And usually the kettlebell stuff I would include for lower body, because upper body for me is just doing bench press and lat pull-ups or lat pull-downs. And if I have time, I'll do like bicep curls. But that's all I do for upper body. No explosivity stuff yet. And then additional stuff you can do, especially for competitors, is doing some neck training. So you could grab like an elastic band, what I do. And I do this every morning, especially when I have time. I grab this like this. And then I hold it on. And then I just do neck flexions. That's good. You can build your way up and eventually do like neck bridges. You can even buy like that strap thing that boxers use. And then flexibility is good too, especially for Uchimata. The more flexible you are in general as an athlete, the more effective you will be. So that's gym work. Nutrition. Guys, if you want to be good at judo or any sport, you have to start to treat yourself like an athlete. You got to raise your standards. So if you're already like fat and you want to get good at judo, that's where you should start. But not completely neglect your training. You could lose weight and train judo at the same time. Judo is great training to like great cardio. So if you're fatter, the first thing to do is to lower your body fat in a caloric deficit. Basically, you would figure out your basal metabolic rate, any BMR calculator online, subtract 200 to 400 calories from that, then track your calories every single day with MyFitnessPal. For anybody, you can follow this diet ratio, which is eating 80% clean food, whole foods, meats, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, high fiber foods. And then 20% it could be whatever you want. That's when you can eat protein bars, granola bars, cereal, ice cream if you want. And you can do this whether you're maintaining your weight, gaining muscle, or losing fat. My current diet is mostly animal-based. This is also a really good diet. Basically, just eat eggs, meats, fish, cheese, and fruits. Very minimal processed foods like protein powder, Rice Krispie treats, ice cream, stuff like that. I do eat them, but especially on a day when I'm working a lot and I need my brain focus, I don't eat that food as much. Reduce inflammatory foods, processed foods, because here's the thing, man, all these foods really cause inflammation in your body, the processed crap. And if you're a judoka, judo is already a very inflammatory sport. All the injuries you're going to acquire, well, if you're not fighting at a high level, you're not really going to get injured, but you're still going to feel really inflamed from taking all the falls, minor injuries for sure. All that's going to be joint inflammation. And if you're fueling your body with seed oils and processed crap, it's only going to add more to your inflammation and pain. So eat a low inflammatory diet. And that's where the animal-based diet comes into play. And then meal prepping, especially if you're really busy, cooking all your meat on a Sunday or Saturday, chopping some melon as you see me here, preparing everything and putting them in meal prep containers in the fridge throughout the week. It's really going to save you time. So just a little hack. But yeah, guys, the main point here is if you want to perform like an athlete, you got to view yourself like an athlete. And I'm telling you, the top level guys, they don't eat crap. They eat healthy. And lastly, the mentality, the most important part. So this picture was my first competition. I won gold. And here's another result that mentality has. I fixed my physique up to be more shredded, low body fat, and stronger. This was taken last year. And this was in 2019 when I was up and down with my consistency with judo. So the saying that says where the mind goes, the body follows. So if your mind is in the gutter, not in the gutter, that's not what I meant. If you have piss pot mentality, you're not going to do well in this sport or in life in general. First tip, never pedestalize any technique. It's a bad mentality to think a certain technique is too hard for you to master. That's just, limiting beliefs. Oh, you try a combination like a Uchimata to Yoko Tomonagi. Oh, this is too hard. I could never do it. I should focus on an easier one. Motherfricker, if you like to do that combo and you want to master it, don't give up. Keep trying it. It took me a while to master, but I did after I did it every time I went to the dojo and I found somebody who was willing to drill with me. If you really want to do something, go after it. Never have that limiting belief that something's too far out of your grasp to achieve. Figure out your why. For me, it was, again, I listened to that podcast and it inspired me. Oh, I'm a man. I really need to lock in my self-defense. I need to feel confident and live up to my potential and adapt that judoka identity like Bruce Lee. Because if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. Your goal isn't strong enough. Your why is what's going to carry you throughout periods of low motivation, feeling like quitting. Very important to just remember why you started everything. No more inconsistency, guys. Remember, you're a disciplined person. Consistency is what helped me really skyrocket my judo. Periods of consistency are so important, guys. Make it your training happen no matter what. If you're getting home late, if you missed training, go do your training at home. If something happens, guys, that's why it's important to get up early too, so you don't make that excuse later that you didn't have time. You make the time. Write down your routine using iPhone Notes or Google Calendar. That's what I did too. It's good to be organized, guys. Write down what you want to do the next day, the night before. I do that every day, especially in the gym or at home. You don't want to go outside to work on your throws or go to the gym and just wing it. No, you're going to give yourself that anxiety and decision fatigue. Write down on a piece of paper, on Google Calendar, or on your iPhone Notes the exercises, the workouts that you're going to do, so you don't have to just improvise and you don't have measurable progress that way. You need to be working on one technique for weeks at a time. You need to be working on like one workout split in the gym for 1 month at a time. And just do it every day consistently and watch your progress skyrocket versus just winging it and doing like whatever at the gym. Don't be, this is for like randori or competition, don't be afraid to fight guys that are better than you in randori. It's for your own good. It's only going to make you stronger. You're only going to learn more. You're only going to get more reps in general. And last emphasis on the consistency part, guys. At least for 6 months. I challenge you. At least go 6 months. Going to the dojo 1 to 3 times a week. Going to the gym 2 to 4 times a week, depending on your split. And working on your throws every single day. At least 5 dummy throws. Stretching and working on explosivity with elastic bands, or if you don't have any equipment, I'll do shadow uchikomis for 6 months. Lock in for 6 months. I promise you, you will get freaking amazing, surprising yourself on the mat results with your technique, guys. After just 2 weeks of using the system myself, I already saw major improvements on the mat. I felt like I was quickly becoming one of the best fighters at my super competitive club. And I realized, why would I ever want to stop? If I keep up this routine, the best of my abilities, I will continue to skyrocket my progress and achieve all my personal goals with judo. Again, I realized consistency really is the secret. To become advanced at judo wasn't as complex as I thought. I just needed to have a structured routine in place that was easy for me to follow and be consistent for 3 to 6 months with it. And I'll be a better athlete. So now that you understand exactly how my process works, we have an offer for you. So if you are a busy working person, if you're a serious athlete, whether you compete or not, if you're someone who's been doing judo for 1 to 5 years, somebody who wants help creating a routine using my method of the judoka ascension that progresses you fast instead of wasting your time trying to figure out this whole routine or whatever routine you're trying to do all by yourself, and are wanting to finally master your favorite throws to use on people at will in randori and matches and tournaments, wanting to feel confident against whoever your opponent is on the mat. You want to win more matches both in randori and or tournaments. Wanting to have a judo routine that your competitors don't have. You want to have that leg up on people, right? You're wanting to become more explosive, stronger, faster, and have unbreakable grips, an amazing mikata. You're wanting to last longer in rounds cardiovascular-wise, like a real athlete. So if you want access to my exact blueprint that got me from not landing throws and matches as consistently and getting overpowered due to lack of strength, to now being respected for my skills in the competitive dojo, both for my strength and my consistency throwing in matches, in 180 days, 6 months. If you want this blueprint, book a call with me. It's the first link in the description. And here's the thing. I'm so confident about this method working. I've gotten so many amazing results from this that if you do work with me and you're not satisfied for whatever reason with the progress you made and the time frame that we work together, then we can continue to work together for free until you are satisfied. So that is that, guys. Again, book a call, first link in the description, or you can DM me on Instagram. It's the second link. All right, guys. I'll see you next video or on a call.